All right, folks, sorry for the late start here and very casual attire, but we've spent about 20 to 30 minutes here fighting with a number of technical, like I said, internet's still not working. We're still trying to fiddle with the cellular hotspot here to make this stream work. It is honestly quite frustrating. I'm not gonna lie, folks, I'm kind of in a bad mood right now, but let's not let that totally train wreck and ruin the show. So let's get into it again. Sorry for the late start here, and it's just listen, let me no one piss us off tonight, okay? Because I will go off. This is very true. Okay. All right, with that said, folks, tonight on the Vince Dow Show, we have just survived Hurricane Brandon Part 2, and we got a lot to catch up on and talk about. Got to talk about the situation with the Don't Tread on Me Chad little kid in Colorado, that whole situation. He's now won his appeal and all of that. Also want to discuss this question going around of whether or not Vivek Ramaswamy is a quote-unquote plant. Is he controlled opposition? Can we truly trust him? I'll give you all my thoughts on that front. Also, controversy as Oliver Anthony says that he does not support the Republicans either. We will, react to that video. I'll give you my thoughts. And a little bit more to talk about. Zelensky also is suspending elections in Ukraine, but we're told, we're actually there to defend democracy. That and a lot more to talk about tonight on the Vince Dow Show post Hurricane Brandon. Let's do this. Stay tuned. And we are live from a resilient survivor state of Florida. Welcome everyone to the Vince Dow Show. It is Wednesday, August 30th, the year of our Lord, 2023, and I am your galaxy-brained host, Teflon, Hurricane Brandon won't get me kind of guy, Vince Dow. Welcome everyone to the Vince Dow Show. Got a lot to get into and, like I said, kind of catch up on tonight. Let's hope we have no more technical problems beyond this front. But before we begin the show, as usual, everyone be sure to right now leave a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and if you would like to support our stream and our show and our content, ladies and gentlemen, and you got questions and comments that you want read and answered on the stream, feel free to do so via the Super Chats. I will check the Super Chats regularly throughout the night. It is the best way to make sure your questions, comments, and reactions are read and answered, and it's also the best way to support the show. So again, folks, we're open to Super Chats. It is greatly appreciated. Right off the gate here, we got... I'm not going to even open the Streamlabs widget because I don't want the stream to lag anymore, frankly. So I'm just going to read them. But Burgundy Blue for $10 says, Vince, I didn't know we were going to stream tonight. I thought you said the hotspot wouldn't come for another week. In any case, I'm glad I could help get this stream running again. Well, Burgundy Blue, that's in regards to a good hotspot, okay? I went to Best Buy. I bought a very cheap hotspot, the only one they had, and that's what we're doing right now. So yeah, we are running on a partial capability stream. I'm lower. I don't know if you guys can tell. This is tech nerd stuff, but we lowered the bit rate by about half. It's not ideal. I gotta lower the quality of the whole internet connection just to make it work. But we have an impromptu stream that we're trying to make work here, okay? By the way, internet guy came over yesterday, and once again, they basically told me there's nothing we don't know what's wrong, okay? So that's two different internet guys at this point, okay? They've both said, well, I don't know what's wrong, you're on your own. We pay $200 a month for them to come over and tell me that they can't fix the problem? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So yeah, internet's still not working. But, this janky little cellular hotspot from Best Buy is going to have to get us through at least till the end of the week, folks, okay? So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to get into tonight, so let's not stall any further. But again, I will read Super Chats periodically between each of our segments. So, if you would like to support the stream, it is greatly appreciated, and of course, I will be reading them all. All right, let's start tonight with the Colorado don't tread on me story. And I'm sure you guys are, you know, at a surface level familiar with this situation by now, but I haven't actually talked about it yet on this channel. So allow me to start off by saying this. We are going to win, okay? I look at a video like this and it's like, you know, very often you look at the state of this country, it's in shambles, you know, and very often you get a perception that young people especially are more radical than their parents, which in many cases is true. But, you know, the kids are not all right. They're going to doom the country. But I look at a video like this, and it really does give me hope. Not just because, oh, here's a random 12-year-old boy who likes the Gadsden flag and is probably, like, gonna grow up to be a right-winger or whatever. It's not about that, okay? Frankly, if you see it like that, you are overthinking this entire situation. I say to all of it, just look at these two people. Compare them. And you know what? People may say this is ad hominem or whatever, but no, it's actually true. I believe spiritual health is a real thing, and it kind of can manifest itself in the physical health, okay? Look at the physiognomy, the physical state of these two people, okay? Not here to insult anyone or do anything, but I am here to say, right? You look at this boy, you look at the teacher or administrator here who is, you know, getting him in trouble, all right? Let's do that comparison, all right? Look at this kid right here. What a king. Like, you can tell he's going to grow up to be an alpha male. He's going to grow up to be one of the higher echelon, high value man of society. Absolute king. And that's who's on our side, right? That is our future. Look at this woman right here. Much like her ideas, much like what she represents. Tired, old, past the wall, past the prime. No insult intended, truly, okay? I'm just pointing this out. And just overall doesn't look well, you know? She doesn't look... She herself looks to be a quite miserable person. And when you really consider... That's their present in this picture. That is their present, and this kid is our future. That's why I look at this and say we are going to win, okay? The disaffected young men of society. Just look at them. Just look at them. See, look at the look in his eyes. We are going to win, okay? We are going to win ultimately because we are just superior on the basic human levels, okay? The Zoomer right-wing generation of young men to the people we're up against here, and it is truly the case. But anyways, folks, if you're totally unfamiliar with this situation, long story short, what happened here is this kid in Colorado has a "Don't Tread on Me," right, the Gadsden flag pin on a patch, I should say, on the back of his backpack, and he was removed from class and asked to remove the patch because they said that the flag was connected to slavery. All right, check it out. Here's the viral video. And then I want to give you guys the updates on the situation, which is that this miserable old lady was completely embarrassed, and the school district and even the Democrat governor of Colorado is siding with this kid. And this kid himself, like I said, is a hero. But let's react to this video, okay? Because this in many ways... I guess I'll say, you know, it tells you a lot. Does it not? It tells you a lot. All right, let's take a listen.
Oh, thank you.
Do they know what the Gadsden flag is? That it's a historical flag?
So the reason that they do not want the flag, the reason we do not want the flag displayed is due to its origins with slavery and
Hold on, let me try to, let me see.
What was...
Let me see if I can boost the audio a little bit, because I know it is a little hard to hear. Let's see. Can I boost the audio? Is that a thing? All right, I'm gonna boost it by like 2. Okay, all right, here we go. All right, let me replay it so you can hear it properly. There you go.
Thank you.
Do they know what the Gadsden flag is? That it's a historical flag?
So the reason that they do not want the flag, the reason we do not want the flag displayed is due to its origins with slavery and slave trade. That is what was, that's the reasoning behind them not wanting to display.
So you guys got that? The reason he's not allowed to have this flag on his backpack is because they claim The Gadsden flag has, or the Don't Tread on Me flag, for people who don't know the nerdy name there, has origins in slavery and the slave trade. The slave trade. Folks, it would be one thing, although it would be stupid for any American to say this, it would be one thing if this was someone on the street. Folks, this is an educational institution. This woman and whoever kicked him out of class in this whole school, they are paid to teach and educate children. And they are unaware, apparently, of the basic common knowledge, or deliberately dishonest. Either way, it's disqualifying. That the Gadsden flag, the Don't Tread on Me flag, originates from the American Revolution, right? It has nothing to do with slavery. The flag says, don't tread on me. How does that connect to slavery? That actually seems kind of antithetical to slavery, right? And no one in the school thought to fact check that. Again, these are teachers, right? Frankly, if I were the parent, I would have said, okay, let's Google the flag right now and see, because even Wikipedia doesn't say it has origins in slavery, because even the liberal, revision of history is not dishonest enough to say that the flag has origins in slavery. There is nobody who says that. There is nobody who says that, okay? But, apparently, again, these people are teaching your kids. So I say everyone involved in this situation should be fired, and I've said this for two reasons. Okay, they should first of all just be fired for the fact that, yes, they stepped in, they're violating a kid's free speech, they totally mishandled the situation. I get all of that. But really, I'd argue what's even worse is the fact that this interaction shows they are legitimately unqualified to teach children, okay? Because you don't have to be a political or history nerd to know. It's common knowledge. Everyone learned this in 8th grade history to know that the Gadsden flag originates from the American Revolution, okay? And the fact that nobody in this school knows that and is teaching these children, unbelievable. All should be fired. But let's continue listening here.
The Don't Tread on Me.
Okay. Which is the Gadsden flag. Okay. Okay, so he's what's gonna happen if he doesn't take it off?
He is able to go. I was actually just telling him, like, I was upset that he was missing so much school. I'm like, so I asked if can he just take his stuff out of his bag and go back to class. Like, I just want him to go back to class. The bag can't go back. It's got the patch on it because we can't have that in and around other kids.
By the way, let me say this. I had liberal history teachers when I went to school in California. I had liberal history teachers, very liberal history teachers, who had the Gadsden flag in their room because they were teaching American history, and it's an iconic flag of the American Revolution, okay? So, like, where is this even coming from? It's ridiculous. It's insane.
And then he said you were close, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with slavery. That's like
no, it does exactly.
War patch that was enslaved when they were fighting the British. Like, that wasn't
correct.
That's the revolution. Maybe you're thinking of like the Confederate flag.
Okay,
imagine working at a school and having to be educated on history by the parent. Okay, the case for homeschooling, ladies and gentlemen. No, but in all seriousness, this is who's running your public schools. The parent knows more about history than the freaking woman here.
I am here to enforce the policy that was provided by the district. Okay. And definitely you have every right to not agree with it.
Because the ACLU says
unbelievable.
That he's allowed to wear that. If you go on their website, it's says in big letters.
All I'm saying is that
unless there's a ban on patches,
that.
period. Like if you said there's no patches allowed at the school, you cannot display what you think or anything like that, or what cheer or anything like that. I think it's one-sided, because you allow some patches but not other patches.
Kids have patches like other names and
right.
The American flag.
And it's no different from flying the American flag, frankly. Like, I know it's used in a very political context these days, which, by the way, let me say that, not that this matters because they don't care, but the Gadsden flag truly is not actually my favorite conservative flag out there. It's not one of my preferences. And, some of you OGs on the channel know I kind of have certain criticisms of using it as a political symbol because I feel like it actually instills a mentality in conservatives to be defensive instead of offensive, right? Why do we say don't tread on me? Why are we in that position? Shouldn't we be in the position where we don't have to worry about that because we're in power? Regardless, still, it's really not a political statement. You know, I understand it kind of has become one because, you know, the Tea Party and all that stuff. But truly, it's no different from flying the American flag. It's a founding icon of this country. It's a founding flag of this country. And again, the fact that you can work in a public school and not be aware of that.
Yeah. That was like flown during the revolution with, yeah, I just don't understand that at all.
So what I can do is
And if you go onto the
our-
ACLU's website, yeah, let's talk to
I
someone.
can
'cause I don't
have
want
you
a
speak
lawsuit. I really don't.
to I can have you speak to our Jeff Yoakum
Okay.
again,
Okay.
and then he can refer you to our person at the district,
Okay.
because like I said, we're following district policy
Okay.
is what we're doing.
Look at those New Balances, by the way. That's iconic.
So the last thing I want.
This whole kid is iconic. Look, he shows up to school so well dressed and stuff. Like this kid is the American Caesar. Okay, this kid is the American Caesar. 40 years from now, he will cross the Potomac, and it's that like truly, this guy, this is Julius Caesar right here. This kid.
Yeah, I know.
Call
He
it.
said he-
Official
he wants to
prediction.
get classes
Official
seriously,
prediction.
He studies. He wants to get straight A's. He did that. He made honor roll when he was here before. He intends to do that again right now, but it's hard because he keeps missing class for this. So
I understand that.
yeah, and I mean we teach him to always stick up for your beliefs. And I mean you're going over the revolution for 7th grade. And the
Yes.
founding fathers stood up for what they believed in against unjust laws. This is unjust.
Okay, like I said, we're upholding a policy that was provided to us, which we have to uphold.
Okay, can you show me where the policy?
Okay, so there's the original video. Now we have an optimistic update, which is even in Colorado, you know, even in a liberal state. The school board actually held an emergency meeting after this went viral on conservative Twitter. Which on that front, let me say, as bad as social media is in some regards, I think a power of it is it can affect, you know, local change like this when something blows up the way it does. So, you know, I guess pick your poison on that front. School board actually interjected, emergency meeting. They have ruled that this is totally within free speech and he's allowed to have this flag. And now let's hear from him. Okay, let's hear from the American Caesar himself. The man who will cross the Potomac in 2040 and restore the American Legion. Here we go. Let's have a listen from him himself.
Hey guys, today was a good day, kind of. When I got to school, the kids were really hyped up because they saw me on Twitter, and kids are putting "Don't tread on me" on their locker. Well, at least my new made friends, because I'm big on Twitter, and now they like me all of a sudden. But the teachers, on the other hand, I got some dirty looks, that's for sure. They're definitely not happy.
This kid is a gangster.
But other than that, it was pretty good. I was on the Charlie Kirk show, and Ben Shapiro had me. It was a really good day, in my opinion. Well, have a good day, y'all. Hey guys,
Look at this. This kid, I'm telling you, this kid is going to save the Republic, okay? I'm telling you, he is Caesar. It is him. It is him. I guess not save the Republic, but save the country. You know what I mean by that, okay? He's him. He's actually him. All right, 12 years old, already well-spoken, already kind of charming and funny, sharp, well-dressed. You can just tell, you know, how, you know, he's gonna be a good-looking guy when he gets older and stuff, right? He's him. This man is Caesar. Okay, I very much look forward to this kid's future. But anyways, like I said, that's why I look at this story and say we're gonna win. It's not just because the school board voted and hey, win for free speech, all that stuff. It's because these are the types of kids we have on our side. Okay, these are the types of kids we have on our side. Again, well dressed, well spoken. You know, you can tell high tea and all that. Okay. That is our coalition of the future. This is the future, okay? The disaffected young men. You know, and by the way, I kind of relate to it because none of this stuff happened to me extremely in middle school, but high school especially, it certainly did, okay? Folks, this is our future, all right? And you know, for all of the crap you see on Fox News and whatnot, and don't get me wrong, it's real, but you do see it, of the hippies on the college campuses, of all the crazies. There's a lot of you, and by the way, you guys saw this in the street video I did this weekend. There's a lot of young, disaffected men out there who are exactly like this, who are older versions of this, whatever it is. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay, because when you look at that kid and you look at the miserable witch that is trying to enforce all the rules on that kid and all that stuff, you see the difference. You see, in the end, who is going to win, who has the better odds, okay? So truly, folks, do not be discouraged. We are back. We are back. Not necessarily because we have the majority of young people on our side, but because, you know, you only need a certain percentage, right? The young men who are on our side are young men like this, okay? I've never been more optimistic about the future because of this kid. What's his name? Jaden, I think is his name, okay? Yeah, shout out Jaden. All right, Jaden Caesar, literally, okay? He will be the guy. I'm telling you, he will be the guy. So, just wanted to give some coverage on that story before we move on with tonight's show. Everyone be sure to leave a like right now on the stream. Get us to 100 likes. And let's get caught up here with our super chats. Burgundy Blue for $2 says, how much did the hotspot cost? Well, the one I bought from Best Buy is not ideal. Like I said, it's temporary because I wanted something to stream on. It was $50 and the plan is another $50. Again, like I said, it's temporary. If they're not able to fix the internet, which it doesn't look like at this point, we're gonna have to buy a much better one because the service on this isn't great. Like I said, have to lower the bit rate and all that stuff and like finick with this thing. But the one I bought, to answer your question, in total is $100. But like I said, it's a temporary hotspot because it's not what ideally we would like to see. Omar for $2. I mean, Omar for a member chat says your Vivek comment was on the comment section. Really? Which one? I've made a lot of comments on him. Okay, well, shout out Brett Cooper. I gotta take a look at that. I didn't know about that. Thank you for the member chat, Omar. Real Texan Politics for $5 says, as much as she looks like a Fauci Zelensky worshipping resist lib who got 5 shots, maybe more, I'm honestly surprised she wasn't wearing a mask. Thank you for the $5. Real Texan Politics. And yeah, I am surprised too. By the way, you know, I feel like she is the stereotypical Charlie Brown tier, you know, just like 80s movie teacher that no one likes, you know, just the miserable, awful woman. And then you got this king here, okay? I'm telling you, that video will go down in American history. When that kid, again, crosses the Potomac and becomes Caesar, like, this video is going to be etched in the memories of history, truly. Okay, so everyone who just, you know, watch that video, take it in, because I'm telling you right now, that is going to be in the history books. Okay, not because it's the biggest thing to ever happen now, but because this kid, like I said, I'm calling it. He is Caesar. He's him. Okay, so you know, take notes, everyone. Take notes. Thank you for the $5. Real Texan Politics. Burgundy Blue for $20. Thank you very much. Says, I swear this woman has been completely brainwashed by lib ideology. Soon they will say the Betsy Ross flag is racist. Thank you for the $20, Burgundy Blue. You know, I don't know if you were around during politics back then, but they've already said that. In about 2018, 2019, some of you guys may remember this. Colin Kaepernick went out because, and you know, this is what it gets even crazier about it. Some of you guys may remember this. So Nike on the 4th of July or whatever it is released a pair of shoes with the Betsy Ross flag on them, and Colin Kaepernick went out and said, by the way, this was when Colin Kaepernick was endorsed by Nike. He was an employee or contractor or whatever. Nike just gave him like $1 million sponsorship deal or whatever, and he went out publicly bashing it, saying it was racist and all that, and Nike actually pulled the shoes, which was very unfortunate because the shoes were actually pretty cool, but whatever, it is what it is. So they have already called the Betsy Ross flag racist, which is, of course, stupid on so many levels. But especially when you consider the fact, yeah, that Betsy Ross was a Quaker. Quakers were abolitionists. But you know, this is of course they've already done this. Burgundy Blue, to answer your question, they've already done this. They're gonna do it a lot more. But he goes on to say, I'm mad about this, and I don't even like libertarians that much. This is literally the 4th year of the 1980s. Thank you for the $20, and it is so true. That's exactly my point too. It's not truly my favorite flag, even of our revolution, you know. And don't get me wrong, I think it's a part of history. I'm not like, oh, cancel it or whatever. But when you think of it, if that it actually is a very negative thing that flag becomes controversial, because that flag represents exactly what it says, a defensive mentality. It's literally at this point saying, leave me alone. And to a degree, like I said, this is why I've said in the past, it's not really my favorite conservative flag out there, because we should not be in the mentality or the mindset where we've been backed into the corner where we're the rattlesnake on the ground. We should be the eagle on top, flying in the sky, you know, alpha predator over everything. We should be the eagle. We should be the lion, you know, not the snake on the ground like, get away, right? That's a defensive position. That's a defensive mentality. We need to have an offensive one. But, you know, with that said, it tells you a lot that this flag that has no origins in slavery or whatever, right? And by nature is defensive. It's literally just saying, don't tread on me, leave me alone, please. When that becomes controversial and cancelable, it actually does, in a negative sense, tell you a lot about where we are. That even the defensive mindset of just please leave us alone, even that is treaded on and there's a war against it. It definitely does tell you a lot. So thank you for the $20, Burgundy Blue. I believe he said, yeah, I appreciate it very much. $1 for $2, says Vince, get that kid on the show. Well, I don't know if I'm big enough for that, because he's been on, what, Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk? I mean, I'm not quite on that level. But, you know, we could, if anyone has contacts, I mean, we could try to make it work. Thank you for the $2, for $1. I'd certainly like to, okay? I'd certainly like to. I feel like I would ask him questions that are different from, you know, everyone else, okay? Because truly, I'm telling you, forget Barron Trump. This kid is the American Caesar. Okay, this guy right here. Barron Trump, he's still, you know, he's still in the wild card race. But this kid, I'm telling you, this kid has a future. I can see it. I can see it in him, you know? He got that dog. He got that dog in him. But he does. He truly does. So it's very real. Vincent Falsetta. Yo, shout out my fellow Vince. And is that an Italian name? Let's go. Says, hello, Vince. I'm a teenager and have watched your content for the last few years. Your videos have inspired me to write and publish my own book just recently. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you for the $10, Vincent. I appreciate it very much. I'm glad I was able to be a source of inspiration or whatever it is. I will say, if you wrote a book, shout out the book, okay? Be sure to tell us the name of the book, and we will. I'll say the name in the chat, and we can shout out everyone to go and check out and read the book, because, you know, if you wrote a book and I was part of the inspiration, I mean, it's a pretty big endorsement. So, you know, I definitely will do the honors and endorse the book for sure. And Republican Thinker for 10 Canadian dollars says, just bought a new gun, got a Mauser M15. That's legal in Canada? Let's see. Mauser M15. I want to take a look at this. Is that let's see. Is that a newer one? Apparently it's a 22. Is that what it is? It's a 22 kind of 22 tactical carbine. Well, you are stuck in Canada, Republican thinkers, so I'm pretty sure the only tactical carbines you're allowed are 22s, but that's great to hear. Appreciate it, man. It looks fun. I'll say that. It definitely looks fun. It looks like a lot of fun to take to the range and stuff, and even the backyard. If you have that type of backyard, it definitely looks fun. So glad to hear that. And he says, slowly building up my gun collection. I'll move to the US before I give up these guns. The vast majority of Canadians don't have that come and take it mentality in Minecraft in a metaphorical, peaceful sense. Thank you for the 10 Canadian Republican Thinker. I appreciate it very much. And, you know, enjoy responsibly the Mauser M15, because that it definitely looks like something very fun. Okay. So anyways, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate the super chats. Good support tonight. We will move on here in our coverage a little bit. But again, folks, if you do have questions, comments throughout these segments that you want read and answered, feel free to do so by super chatting the show, and I will continue reading them. But let's move on here a little bit in our coverage. Let's talk about another, I guess, hero of the right wing that some people are not too happy with lately, because he went out and said this video, Oliver Anthony. Let me contextualize that. Oliver Anthony, I'm sure most of you guys are familiar. Richmond, north of Richmond, that guy. He now went out and, well, let's play the video. But basically, he went out attacking Fox News and Republicans for airing his song at the presidential debate, as you guys may remember. And let's hear him out first. Let's hear what he has to say, and then we'll give you our response here, okay?
It's aggravating seeing people on conservative news try to identify with me like I'm one of them. It's aggravating seeing certain musicians and politicians act like we're buddies and act like we're fighting the same struggle here, like that we're trying to present the same message. I've had a lot of people reach out to me, and I've tried to be polite to everybody, and I've talked to hundreds of people the last 2 weeks. But it seems like certain people want to just ride the attention of this song to maybe make them their own selves relevant, and that's aggravating as hell. The other thing that I find aggravating is, it was funny seeing my song in the. It was funny seeing it at the presidential debate, because it's like I wrote that song about those people, So for them to have to sit there and listen to that cracks me up. But it was funny kind of seeing the response to it. Like, that song has nothing to do with Joe Biden, It's a lot bigger than Joe Biden. That song is written about the people on that stage, and a lot more too, not just them, but definitely them.
Okay, so I thought I'm gonna kind of regurgitate Matt Walsh's take on this because I thought it was pretty spot on. So, on the surface, really, there's nothing wrong with what he said. Okay, I actually agree with it 100%. Yes, the Republican Party's equally bought out as the Democratic Party. The Republican Party is just as full of rich men north of Richmond as the Democrats. And, it's fully consistent with the message of his song to go out there and say that, look, Republicans, it applies as much to you too. Okay, so I don't have a problem with that at all. That's true populism, okay? And I totally agree with that. You will find few people more critical of Republicans than me, and that's part of why I had praise for the song, because it's not, and this is actually one of the things I said was so good about it, is it's not a cheap surface tier, like, I like Republicans and Democrats are the real racist type of like cheesy MAGA song or whatever. It actually hits deep at the core of the things that are wrong in our country. Okay, so I'm not against any of that. However, what I will say is that when he attacks two things, he attacks conservative news, politicians I 100% get, but when he attacks conservative news and other musicians for going out there and pretending, quote unquote, I'm one of them or I'm fighting the same struggle. Matt Walsh had a very good take on this, which is, to a degree, it's kind of throwing under the bus the very people who made him relevant, right? And by the way, I have nothing wrong with attacking Fox News. Obviously, Fox News is corporate controlled opposition. Yes, they are rich men north of Richmond. But, I guess there's something, that kind of rubs me the wrong way in the way that, and by the way, he doesn't have a fancy PR firm, okay? I understand that, so I'm not really holding it against him. Don't take this for me saying I'm particularly super duper mad at the guy. I'm just giving you my honest thoughts on, I feel like this response could have been handled better, I think it kind of shows a lack of gratitude for the very people that blew him up to begin with, which, again, are conservative news. That was Matt Walsh's take on it. I do, in a sense, agree with that. The other thing I feel like is relevant to point out is he kind of makes it sound like he didn't, he said he was aggravating. He didn't want his song played at the presidential debate, which is, of course, fine. And I'm all here for the criticisms of Fox News and all that stuff. But at the same time, he gave Fox News permission to air this video at the debate. And I know that not just because Fox News said it, openly, but also because of copyright law, right? They're a major network. They just simply would not go out there and do that. And so I feel like the fact that she doesn't mention, hey, I gave them permission to do that or whatever it is, I don't know, something about me, that to me seems a little like, you know, he's accusing other people of grifting, and don't get me wrong, a lot of people have grifted off of this movement. But then on the flip side, it's a little grifty to me to kind of give Fox News permission to air the video and then make a response video attacking them for airing the video, right? And again, that's not me defending Fox News. I'm fully aware that, you know, I have a bunch of videos criticizing Fox News. But that to me, I don't know, it does kind of rub me the wrong way. So, final conclusion on this, like I said, I'm not really holding it super against him. He, you know, I don't think he's a super political guy, and that's fine. You know, I'm not expecting him to be some type of political pundit, nor do I think we should take his political opinions super duper seriously. He's a musician who makes good music about good stuff, and a very talented one at that. And he's obviously, you know, a devout Christian and all of that stuff. He went on Joe Rogan today and read from the Bible. So, you know, I appreciate that all. Don't mistake this for me saying to throw the guy under the bus. I like the guy. You know, if he has more music that pops off, I'll react to it and praise it and all of that stuff. But I do have to say, this video right here, this kind of response where, you know, there seems to be a sense of ungratefulness for the very conservative media that made him famous, and then to intentionally omit the fact, amidst all this criticism, that he gave Fox News permission to air that video. I don't know. Like I said, a little bit about that. But, you know, like I said, those are just my thoughts on it. I generally... I don't think he's selling out to the liberals either. I know some people are saying that, but, you know, he's criticizing them too. I think it's just a matter of, you know, he blew up overnight. He doesn't have a PR firm. He's not exactly trained on that front. And I guess, in my opinion, I think he said something that could very easily be taken the wrong way because it wasn't communicated greatly. You know what I mean? But that's sort of just the way I feel about the Oliver Anthony situation. Don't hate the guy, not holding it against the guy. But overall, I think this could have been handled better. That's what I'm going to say about it. Okay, I'm not here to cancel him. He's controlled opposition. See, no. He's just a guy who, you know, didn't communicate how he was feeling the best. Okay, so that's how I feel about it. Anyways, I know we got more super chats, so let's really quickly get caught up here on these. Republican Thinker sends a member chat, says, yeah, it's legal for now. Believe it or not, Trudeau banned the M1 Garand and M1 carbine recently. Well, that is simply unpatriotic. Okay, well, I guess, you know, that's the gun that won World War II for the Allies, and he's gonna ban that. Unbelievable. I can't even believe that. Okay, which I'm kind of surprised that anyone cares enough about the M1 because it has a wooden stock. So I'm surprised people are even like, oh my gosh, wood guns aren't scary, right? So I'm surprised they actually are against that. But yeah, that obviously sucks. Thank you for the member chat, Republican Thinker. I appreciate it very much. Vincent for $5 says, thank you. The book is called Washington's Fractured Party Rebuilding a Conservative Majority. Well, folks, official endorsement. Everyone be sure to go check out and read the book Washington's Fractured Party Rebuilding a Conservative Majority by Vincent Falsetta. Okay, there you go. There's your shout out. Like he said, apparently I helped inspire the book. So, you know, be sure to go check out that book. Appreciate it, Vincent, and thank you for the $5. God bless you, man. I appreciate it. Burgundy Blue for $20 says, did you hear Nick's comments on Oliver Anthony? Honestly, I didn't like the fact that he was a centrist, but he goes way too far in hating on Appalachia. Thank you for the $20, Burgundy Blue. You know, I'm not super familiar with what he said about that, but let me just say this. It wouldn't really surprise me. It wouldn't really surprise me. You know, frankly, a lot of contrarian figures have made it their modus operandi to attack the guy for this, while simultaneously claiming to be, we know, right? But thank you for the $20, Burgundy Blue. I appreciate it very much. And yeah, sorry it's not a Kanye song, right? Sorry it doesn't have a trap beat. Sorry it's authentic music about an authentic message. Yeah, well, of course. Thank you for the $20 though, Burgundy Blue. I appreciate it very much. All right, folks, with that said, let us move on here to our later stories of the night. We're going to talk about this Vivek Ramaswamy question in a second and whether or not we can truly, quote unquote, trust the guy. But really quickly, I don't want to miss this, so let's mention this really quickly. Mitch McConnell froze again today. Okay? Remember that moment a couple months ago where he just was standing there and he froze and it looked like he had a stroke or blanked out, whatever it is. It was concerning. It's not something to laugh at or make light of, but I'm here to inform you as a matter of news reporting that it happened again today. So take a look.
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Benny.
okay.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
What are my thoughts about what?
Running.
You know, and it's like, as much as I don't like Mitch McConnell, okay, it's not fun to watch at all. It's actually quite concerning. It's kind of depressing. But at the same time, why is this geriatric in elected office at all? It's insane. And this is and by the way, you know, whether or not he should step down as senator, I think it's pretty clear he should. But the fact that he's still Senate minority leader, you know, you wonder part of why the Senate GOP struggles so much. Well, you have a literal geriatric in charge. This is worse than Biden. Let me say that. This is worse than Biden. Okay? And so before the liberals come at me, not that they will, but come at me saying like, oh, you make fun of Biden's cognitive decline and not this. No, this is worse than Biden. Joe Biden's never done this. Okay? Joe Biden is an idiot and loses his train of thought, but he's never frozen twice now in a press conference like this. It is certainly concerning. Okay? And look, people are going to say, oh, it's an age thing. To me, it's not about age. You know, obviously past a certain point, you become geriatric regardless of how sharp you are. But it's not about the fact that he's 80 years old or 70, or however old he is. But it is an issue of cognitive capability because Bernie Sanders is older than Mitch McConnell. And obviously, I disagree with a lot of what Bernie Sanders says, but he's still there mentally, right? Different people's brains go at sooner times than others. But like, this guy is having a mini stroke or whatever this is on the press conference stage, and he won't step down, and the GOP won't intervene. Why is our party not intervening and saying, okay, Mitch, it's time to go? And hey, listen, you want to be a geriatric senator? Oh, it's okay, fine. We have plenty of those. We got John Fetterman on the other side, whatever. But he should not be in charge of the leadership in the GOP. Look, watch that again. This is our leadership in the GOP, okay?
For re-election.
You wonder what happened in 2022 with the Senate races? Well, this is the guy leading the charge. Watch this again.
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026?
You got to have the aide come in. Even like I said, okay, just look, good faith Vince, totally fair, not partisan about this because both parties do suck. This is worse than Biden. Yeah, Biden's aides have to pull him away, but they've never once had to whisper in his ear, Mr. President, did you get the... That's never had to happen with Joe, okay? So it is another level of geriatric. It's insane. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Benny.
Okay.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
And the fact that, like, to a degree, look, Mitch McConnell is a scumbag, but The fact that they don't even pull him away from the press conference, they're like, okay, next question, whatever it is. You almost feel bad for him in the way that Biden, like, is not fit to do it, but they keep pushing him out there to do it. They won't even end the press conference. Okay, they won't even end the press conference. It's insane. It's insane. Zachary for $10. Thank you very much. Zachary, God bless you, says, why do we have this 95 dial-up computer with 500 viruses and someone using the phone is leading Senate Republicans is beyond me. He needs to retire now. Thank you for the $10, Zachary. And yeah, exactly. He absolutely needs to retire now. But he won't. He won't. Okay, we have to just continue this circuit of having geriatrics around the country. And like I said, for me, it's not about age. I know for some people it's about age. For me, it's not about age, okay? If an old person still has the youth and vibrance and energy, that's perfectly fine to me, okay? And I think to a degree, when people talk about the age of politicians, we also need to consider, yes, this establishment leadership class of politicians is scum, but a lot of old people genuinely do have a lot of life experience and wisdom to be in charge, right? But at a certain point, you don't want geriatrics, right? There's a certain point, old people, they reach their magnus opus of leadership and respect, and then they ride off into the sunset and retire somewhere in the villages in the state of Florida, But, yeah, anyways, there's the update on Mitch McConnell. Just unbelievable, okay? And, like I said, a lot of stuff happened in 2022, and I get it. But, I look at, that's who is in charge of the Senate GOP. Yeah, no wonder we got killed in all the Senate races. Governor races, we did decently, a lot of them. But, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, folks. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let us move on here to... We'll make this the final story of the night, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how long it goes. But I now want to get into the hot button question of tonight, which is a dialogue I've been seeing go around on a lot of the right wing, and I figured I'd give my thoughts on it, which is this question of, can we trust Vivek Ramaswamy? As you know, Vivek, running for president, has created a huge surge, and not for no reason, right? The guy came to the table with a lot of ideas. He's a visionary. He has a lot of good things to say. A lot of his proposals are significantly more conservative than what a lot of the establishment GOP candidates are saying. And so overall, I think if you were to take a temperature of the Republican base right now, most people like him. But you're starting to see this growing dialogue of people saying, well, look at his big pharma background. Look at his scholarship he got from George Soros. Look at the past. So a lot of people are saying, A, that we can't trust him, but B, what I've been hearing a lot recently is this idea that Vivek is a plant. And I've heard people say this, that he's literally being planted to run for president by George Soros or someone. And I don't know, I guess he's basically a CIA psyop or something. So I wanted to kind of close our show tonight, our programming tonight, by giving my thoughts on this front of, is Vivek Ramaswamy a quote-unquote plant? Okay. So on the Vivek question, let me say this. I do not fully trust the guy. Okay, it's not a matter of I don't that I actively, I should say, distrust the guy. It's just a matter of, look, I think everyone should have a healthy skepticism of someone we've seen basically come out of nowhere. This guy was a no-name. He's suddenly risen to prominence. He certainly has a silver tongue, but who really is he? These are healthy questions that I think conservatives should ask, and if you're planning to support him, which I'm not, I'm a Trump supporter, but if you are planning to support him, it's something you should internalize and ask yourself, can we truly trust the guy? He should be vetted and cross-examined. I'm absolutely in favor of that. I will also say there are particular political issues that I disagree with him on, and to an extent distrust him on, okay? Particularly trade and immigration. I think his trade policy with TPP and all of that is a Trojan horse for a new NAFTA and basically more globalism in the name of combating China. Number one, I think his merit-based immigration policy with no restrictions is very reckless and will upend the American economy and destroy a lot of the skilled labor market in many ways. So let it be said, I have my reservations about the guy, okay? I'm not this blind Vivek shill, contrary to what people may think. However, at the same time, what I will say is I find the idea that George Soros planted the guy to run for president, frankly, folks, to be a little bit out there, okay? You know, it's one thing to say you just don't find him to be a trustworthy guy of moral character, okay? That's your opinion, and you're allowed to have that opinion, and I think that's a legitimate question to raise. But the idea that George Soros took this random Indian pharmaceutical executive who has a funny name, and a fun, skinny guy with a funny name, and had virtually no name recognition before, and quite miraculously, against the odds, has risen to the place of third place for president. I just don't really buy that. What does George Soros have to gain by planting some random Indian billionaire to run for president and finish in third place in the Republican primary? Wow, he really owned and subverted the Republican Party by doing so, right? Like, I just don't see that. And what I will say furthermore is whether or not you believe Vivek is personally genuine, which, like I said, is a legitimate question that people should raise eyebrows about. I'm not saying they shouldn't. But whether or not you believe he's genuine, I think overall what he's doing in this race is a net positive for the Republican Party and the conservative movement. Because even if he doesn't win, even if he finishes in second or third place, the fact that he spread so many important, solid, regardless of the messenger, solid message, right? Solid ideas into the conservative Overton window and discussion, whether that's stuff about, voting and what does it mean to vote? What does American identity mean? ESG, how do we combat woke capital? All of this different stuff. The general lack of purpose and meaning that a lot of young people in the spiritual crisis were feeling in America. Again, even if you don't necessarily trust him on a personal level, he has pushed a lot of, and I genuinely believe this, important ideas into the Overton window of conservatism, right? So for me, as someone who doesn't plan to vote for him, I don't really care personally if he's trustworthy or not, because I see it as he's a net positive overall because he's pushing these ideas and he's starting the conversation. But what I will say on that front is, in the end, that's probably, let's be realistic, in 2024, how he goes down remembered. He's probably not going to win the primary. He's not going to beat Trump, but he's going to be remembered as a guy who pushed the window, pushed the discussion, brought a lot of new and interesting ideas into the Overton window. Okay, with all of that said, again, he may be an opportunist, which I think is a much better potential term. He could be opportunistic. I'm not saying he's not. But what exactly does George Soros have to gain? Okay, like, do people just think about this logically? Like, look, I'm all for the conspiracy theories, quote unquote. Okay, I'm very schizo about certain things. But legitimately, folks, like, use your head actually here, okay? Think about it logically. I'm not saying George Soros doesn't do stuff. Obviously, he does. Obviously, he tries to undermine and subvert the United States system and political process in many different ways. But what does he personally have to gain by planting some random Indian guy to run for president for the Republicans, finish in third place, and significantly push the Overton window to make the Republican Party much more conservative and much more ideologically against George Soros? What does he have to gain from that? Genuinely. I don't think that take makes any sense, to tell you the truth, okay? And I'm not saying this is true, but I think if anything, it would make more sense that George Soros plants someone like Ron DeSantis to run for president in the hopes that Ron DeSantis can beat Donald Trump and be a Trojan horse for the pre-Trump, pre-nationalist America First GOP. I'm not even saying I necessarily believe that, but that conspiracy theory would at least make a lot more logical sense than George Soros planting Vivek Ramaswamy to get in there and push the Overton window on a lot of different issues, significantly more right-wing in terms of the overall discussion. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. So that's the way I feel about this. I do have reservations about certain ideas that Vivek has. I do have healthy skepticism about who he is, some of his past, the fact that he did come from Big Pharma. I'm not saying it's immediately discrediting, because I think you definitely can come from that world like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a rich man north of Richmond, for instance, but I certainly think you know, you can have responsible, benevolent elites. You certainly can absolutely have that. You can have people who come from within the system, see how wrong it is, and then want to change it, right? That's why it doesn't immediately discredit me if Donald Trump is a billionaire or if Vivek is big pharma or like JD Vance, I believe, has a background in big tech or whatever it is, right? These things can happen. And people come from that world and are experts on it and want to fix it and change it. I'm not saying that's not possible. At the same time, the fact that he does come from that, you should be skeptical. Okay, so I definitely agree with that. I'm just overall saying that when you go out here and say that George Soros planted the guy physically himself to run for president, I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense. I think that's a little bit silly, to tell you the truth. Okay, I think it's a little bit silly. You know? If anything, it would make more sense for DeSantis or one of these other Republicans to be the plan. So that's number one. Okay, number two thing I've been hearing about him a lot is this comparison to Barack Obama. Okay, and people did bring up that he plagiarized the line from Obama in the debate. And yes, don't get me wrong, that's a little bit cringy. That's a little bit just, why are you doing that, dude? You know, and you're trying to seem relatable or young or hip or whatever. And honestly, I don't think it hit very well. I will say I don't think that was a good move on his part. But however, at the same time, that to me is also sort of a cheap attack line. Because when you compare Vivek to Barack Obama, what exactly are you saying? Okay? Because Barack Obama, obviously, very bad guy. Okay? Very bad guy because he basically crafted the modern image of the Democratic Party, because he passed a lot of policies and spread a lot of ideas culturally into the Overton window that have caused the terrible liberal decline of our country that we're now feeling in the year 2023. Obviously, we understand this. Barack Obama, not a good guy. However, you know, when you compare Vivek to him, what you're saying is, oh, they have like similar personalities. They have similar levels of charisma or charm or whatever it is. Well, on that front, what I would say is that, look, obviously we don't like Barack Obama, but it's undeniable that he was an effective politician and especially an effective candidate, right? The guy came along in 2008 and absolutely steamrolled John McCain. Okay, he made the Republican Party look stupid, not just once, but twice. He also, like I said, and I think he's a bad guy. He did this all for bad ends, but the means he used, he fundamentally reshaped and crafted the modern Democratic Party in his own image, okay? So you can say a lot of things about him. I have very bad things to say about him, but you cannot say that he was not an effective political leader and a guy who defined politics of the 21st century in many ways, okay? So this is all to say that, like, I don't inherently have a problem with Vivek kind of copying some of Obama's stylistic mannerisms or whatever it is, because Obama was a very charismatic guy. There's a reason why Obama won by such a big margin in 2008. Now, what I will say on the flip side is that at the same time, I don't know if it really works the best for a Republican conservative candidate, because I think if you're, you know, Republican man running for president, because I think you have to think about the image and brand that matches liberalism versus conservatism. The reason why that sort of soft-spoken, skinny guy like, you know, Beto O'Rourke, Barack Obama, JFK, that type of personality, I think it more so suits a liberal, because you kind of think of what defines liberalism, right? It's kind of that personality. So the guy promotes hope, and he's disarming and, you know, optimistic, that type of thing. I think it works better on a liberal. When you consider the successful conservative leaders of, you know, recent times, you think of Ronald Reagan, right? You think of Donald Trump, right? Guys who portray this kind of more conservative sense of strength, of power, of masculinity, you know? So this is to say, I don't know if the Barack Obama image necessarily will work for Vivek, because I don't know if that type of personality suits a conservative. Then again, it's never truly been tried. I don't know if it truly suits him. So I'm not saying it's the best strategy, but at the same time, am I inherently mad that, like, the guy is trying to mirror the things that made Barack Obama an effective politician, an effective leader? No, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. You know, Because are you trying to make the case that Vivek has the same ideology, is going to do the same policies as Obama? Obviously not. But if he's going to try to match that level of charisma and kind of ability to inspire, and I'll say this, really what he's good at, what Obama was good at, what JFK was good at, is the ability to tug on the heartstrings, the ability to appeal to people's emotions, which are very powerful and should not be ignored in the grand scheme of politics. They are necessary. I don't think that's inherently a bad thing either. So there's the verdict on Vivek. Like I said, there are substantive things that I disagree with him on. Trade, immigration. There's a healthy skepticism of him that I have in the sense that, well, who really is this guy? But on the flip side, I don't think it does us any good to be completely schizo about this guy, okay? He's not a George Soros plant, okay? He's not going to be Barack Obama too if he was elected president, frankly. So that's the overall opinion. I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think. In fact, let's do a poll right now as we start to wrap up the show and move on to our super chat portion of the night here. Let's do that poll because I'm kind of curious how you guys feel about the Vivek question. Let's just put it out. Do you trust Vivek? All right. I'm just going to put yes and no. I know people have nuanced opinions, but let's just get an overall general answer, right? Putting the poll out in the live chat right now. Do you trust Vivek Ramaswamy? This is, of course, the question of the night. And with that said, though, ladies and gentlemen, we're all wrapped up on our stories tonight. So we will now do our super chats for about, I don't know, let's say about 10 to 15 minutes here. So let's say, about end the stream around, I don't know, 9:20-ish. That said, folks, let's move on now to our super chats, questions, comments, and Q&A, ladies and gentlemen. We are now an open book, open for the questions, open for the super chats. I will get to reading them here, and let's do this and close out the stream by having a good night. Now, one thing I will say as we wrap up here, just programming alert, I will not be live tomorrow. Okay, I won't be live tomorrow. We got things to do. Okay, all that stuff. We may be live Friday. I'm not sure. We probably will be live Friday. Honestly, though, it might be a little bit earlier. I don't know. I'm still deciding on that. But we'll let you know. But no live tomorrow, and just letting you guys know. So, super chat you want to get in for tomorrow or whatever it is, get them in today. All right, get them in today because we're not going to be live tomorrow. All right, that said, let's move on here to our super chat portion of the night. $1 for $2 says Joe Biden is a plant, more specifically a vegetable. Thank you for the $2, $1 for $1. And this is indeed true. This is indeed true. This is, in fact, by many accounts, so true. It is so true, folks. Thank you for the $2, $1 for $1. Real Texan Politics for $10 says, I heard a report that Mitch spoke with several Senate allies this afternoon after his freezing, including John Thune, John Barrasso, John Cornyn, and Shelley Moore Capito. Resignation incoming. Thank you for the $10, Real Texan Politics. I mean, at the very least, he needs to step down from being minority leader. He could be a geriatric guy who just votes on stuff like Dianne Feinstein. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason this guy should be yeah, he should resign. And why am I even coping about it? He needs to resign. So it does tell you a lot, though, right, about who's going to take over after him. Everyone's optimistic. Oh, when Mitch McConnell gets out of office, we'll get someone better. I don't know all these people, but John Cornyn is the same guy who supported the red flag laws and I think voted for the infrastructure bill and all that stuff. So it is true. Thank you for the $10, Real Texan Politics. We truly have to figure out a way to drain the swamp, not just get Mitch McConnell out, because none of the people he met with today seem to be much better than him. But it's true. Thank you for the $10, Real Texan Politics. I appreciate it. Real Texan Politics for $2 says, also, Blake Masters might run for Senate again. Well, that'll be very interesting. I mean, there's definitely an electability hump that he's going to have to get over, but, that he clearly wasn't able to do last time. But I do like Blake Masters, and here's hoping he's able to do it, a second time around. He did also face a very solid candidate in Mark Kelly. So, if we get a three-way race this time around with Cinema and a Democrat and Blake Masters, I like Blake Masters' chances. So, definitely rooting for him. Definitely rooting for him. Thank you for the $2, Real Texan Politics. And hold on, let me take a sip of water because my throat, folks, we've been talking and not sleeping a lot. It's starting to hurt. You can hear the rasps. Okay, it's starting to hurt, but All right, I had to take a momentary sip of water here. Let's take a look here at our more super chats, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, good support tonight, guys. I appreciate it. Real Texan Politics for $10 says, one last thing. Everyone in Utah's 2nd District needs to vote for Bruce Howe next Tuesday to defeat Virginia establishment carpetbagger Celeste Malloy and liberal rhino Becky Edwards. Thank you for the $10, Real Texan Politics. I'm going to be honest, I'm not super familiar with any of those people, but I do trust your judgment because you know about this electoral politics stuff better than I do. So everyone hear that? Listen to Real Texan Politics. Go vote in Utah for Bruce Howe. Do not vote for Celeste Malloy and Becky Edwards. So there you go. Thank you for the $10, Real Texan Politics. I appreciate it very much. And we move on here with our super chats. D-Run for $2 says, Big Mike ain't gonna like that. Don't go near water. Thank you for the $2. And it is true, folks. I know how to swim. Joking, of course. I'm not suicidal, though. Okay, I am not suicidal. I know how to swim. And I would not go paddleboarding in a pond. Truthfully, I just don't do that. So thank you for the $2. It is very true. Noah Boydie for $5 says Neocon Nikki is the one we should trust. That is obviously sarcastic. But thank you for the $5, Noah Boydie. I appreciate it. And Noah Boydie for another $5 says Vivek is running for 2028 president. Romney, McCain, H.W. Bush, and Reagan were all primary runner-ups before becoming nominee in the next cycle. Thank you for the $5, Noah. And listen, here's the thing about that. I need to take another sip of water, guys. I'm sorry. My throat is killing me right now. Not even that I'm sick. It's just that I'm kind of sleep deprived, and it's out of gas. Like, do you hear it? Do you hear the rasps? Literally hurts, okay? So we might end the stream, honestly, kind of early here. So I'm going to do it now. Last call for Super Chats, because my voice is not going to make it. It hurts. It's like, it's on, the gaslight is on in my voice, okay? It's about to just die. It is physically painful to speak. So last call for Super Chats, because we're going to have to end the stream here soon, okay, ladies and gentlemen? But Noah with $5 says, Vivek's running for 2028 president. So here's the thing. I think all things considered, it's likely that Vivek has a bright future in the party. But what you do have to consider, and this should be his concern, is that really you got to think about it. Is he a spur of the moment type of thing? Or is he a long-term figure that's going to last in the party? I think that still remains to be seen. Because you are right. A lot of people who came in second place the first time around won the second time around. Couple big differences. First of all, the era of the internet and social media has shortened attention spans. So whatever his stride was that he hit in 2024 might not be around in 2028. I'm not saying it won't be. I'm just saying it's something you got to look out for as an analyst or whatever. That's number one. And then number two, he could be Republican Obama, or he could be Republican Beto or Rook, right? There are stars that shine bright and die fast. I'm not necessarily saying that Vivek is one of those stars, because I think he's very articulate and can do it, but it is something to keep an eye on. It does remain to be seen. Will Vivek be a lasting figure in the party? Not sure. I think you just got to wait for time to test it out. Rowley for $2 says, do you like the Gadsden flag again now, 07? I mean, I have a similar opinion to what I had on it before. It's just that, I don't despise it. I understand it's a right-wing symbol in some ways, and it's still a symbol of the country. So, I mean, it's not my cup of tea in terms of right-wing flags. It wasn't back then when I made that video. It still isn't now. But even in that, I never said I hated it. I still don't hate it, and I will still defend any genuine patriotic right-wing or just patriotic American in general who gets censored for wearing it. You know what I mean? It's just, like I said, it's not really my cup of tea when it comes to conservative or right-wing icons, because I feel like it, like I said, promotes something more of a defensive mentality than it does an offensive mentality, And that's my problem with, not with the flag itself. The flag with itself is an important part of American history. That's my problem with the way a lot of right-wingers perceive the flag today. The Tea Party, right? The libertarians and all that stuff. Of this very hey, leave me alone mentality versus, hey, we're gonna win and dominate, you know, the political situation. So I think that's the difference there. But let us take a look. Again, folks, let me check Streamlabs, but last call for Super Chats, because my voice is killing me. So last call, any last Super Chats, questions, comments, anything you want read and answered. Like I said, won't be live tomorrow, so last call. Feel free to send them in now, because my voice is honestly killing me. So, you know, but let me check Streamlabs, make sure we didn't miss anything on there. Which I think we're good on that front. Let me see. Okay, we did get one here. Okay, it is working. Dollar for $2 says best alternative to polyester that's not cotton. I mean, the best alternative to polyester is cotton. What, are you allergic to cotton or something? Because cotton is the best. You know? By the way, to people who are unfamiliar with the premise of this question, polyester is very bad for you. Okay, a lot of clothing and stuff has polyester. Really, anything made out of synthetic plastic is bad, but polyester specifically ruins fertility. It is like anti-fertility toxic. You know what I mean? So that's why he was asking this question. So boys, just FYI, especially to my young men out there, my young kings, if you have polyester underwear, throw it out now. Okay, that is killing your fertility. It's literally killing your sperm count. Okay, so, but he asked an alternative that's not cotton. I don't know, because the best alternative is cotton, right? Cotton's the best material for clothing. So like, I don't know. I don't know. Someone can answer me that. Wool, right? Like, but who wears wool these days? But genuinely, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that question is. So if any of you schizos in chat who are super familiar with that type of stuff know the best alternative to polyester, feel free to help out our friend Dollar for Dollar here. And shout out really quickly to our Rumble chat. Shout out to Blasian Babies and God is in my heart. All right, shout out to the Rumble chat. Everyone watching on Rumble, we appreciate it very much. And if you're not subscribed to the Rumble, be sure to go over and subscribe to the Rumble. But yeah, folks. All right, last call for Super Chats. If we got no more, I'll probably wrap it up here because my voice, again, is killing me. Needs a rest. It needs to retire for the night. Okay? But, you know... yeah. All right, but we close out the poll, by the way. 70% of you said you trust Vivek Ramaswamy. 30% say no. So there you go. There's kind of the audience opinions on that. But all right, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. Again, we won't be live Thursday. We may be live Friday. By the way, actually, one last thing before we end the stream here. All right. Listen, actually, I want to bring this up because I'm thinking of doing this. All right. And look, people are going to get mad. I get it. But all things considered, I feel like this might be a good move. Okay. So I'm thinking of reducing the amount that we stream. In the sense that right now, the regular plan schedule is we're supposed to do Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. I'm thinking of changing it to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? Every other day we go live. And I know people are going to say, no, Vince, I want every night. All right, here's the problem. Here's the reason why I'm thinking that. Is A, obviously, you know, I'm back in school and all of that stuff. It is kind of just a grind. It's just stressful, whatever. But we can handle that, okay? I don't mind going live every night, genuinely. You know, and frankly... because we've been doing this for a couple months, it takes me about 10 minutes of preparation. I write down a few notes and then we just go live. So it's not like a huge burden on my part. The main reason I'm thinking of changing it to every other night is because there's been very often nights where I feel like there's just no news to talk about, right? And that's the thing partially under the Biden America that, you know, under Trump, there was news every night to talk about. I feel like there's some nights here where I never know what to cover. Right? That there's no news. It's a totally dead news day. And the problem with those shows is that not a lot of you guys tune in to watch them either because it's like boring subjects, right? Because I could go live and talk about anything. Okay, I legitimately, I can just sit here and talk. I could talk about freaking history or whatever nonsense, whatever it is. But like, let's be real, viewership is king. You know, I do the live for, you know, you guys, for the audience and all that stuff, right? It's a little bit, to me, it's like draining and kind of like a waste of our time and energy to do a live on a totally dead news day. So, like I said, what I'm thinking of doing going forward, I'm not decided on this. I'm thinking of changing the show to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That way, because I don't want shows to be like forced, right? I want it to be genuinely here. We sit down, we talk about the news. It's interesting. And if we do every other day, there's plenty of news to talk about. And then if something significant happens on a Tuesday or a Thursday, we could do what we've done for a while, which is just do an emergency live, right? So the regular set schedule, I'm thinking Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If something important happens on a Tuesday or Thursday, then we set up an emergency stream. So I don't know. I'm just letting you guys know. That's what I'm thinking of doing. You guys can give me feedback. I'm sure that idea will not be popular with the super regulars of the stream. But at the same time, it's like, you know, viewership, super chats, all that stuff was good tonight. But there's some nights, like I said, the reason I'm thinking of cutting it down to every other night is there's some nights where it's like there's nothing to talk about. And when there's nothing to talk about, no one watches, which is valid. Like, I don't blame you guys. Like, that's just how it goes, right? If it's totally dead, like, who cares? You know, what is? Oh, let me sit here and talk about some random local news story, right? Who cares about that? And then, you know, the cost benefit there in terms of super chats and viewership stuff, it's not there. So I don't know. I'm just letting you know I'm thinking of doing that. But with that said, folks, everyone be sure to leave a like on this stream before you go. Let's get the show to 100 likes before we hop off tonight. And I will see you guys live probably Friday. Same time, same place at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And until next time, folks, Alpha Moves only. God bless. Pray for everyone affected by Hurricane Brandon. And until next time, Alpha Moves only. God bless. Have a very good night and peace.